Before this episode begins, I just wanted to say that we have a Discord server. You can chat with
That is
us,
correct.
post photos, videos, ask us questions. You know, we're just trying to
Just
build
say
a
hi.
community. Yeah, there you go. The link is down in the description. Click on that. It'll take you right over to Discord. If you don't have a Discord, it takes about 2 minutes to set up.
Heath.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, yep.
Go join now.
Anyways, enjoy the podcast.
Do it.
We are live, senor. Good morning,
Welcome back,
everybody.
Well, yeah.
Or
Well, you'll see us drinking beer, but we are not alcoholics. It is
Yes.
currently 8:30 in Texas, 7:30 in New Mexico. So,
yep. Not
good morning.
you don't know if we've been drinking before this or not, but
Yeah, that's true. We'll leave that
to
up
you.
to your imaginations. But our second podcast episode.
Yep. The first one did
Thank you
pretty
for
good.
liking the first one, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
to
did.
start it off, thank y'all for listening and liking, and hopefully you're gonna listen to the second one. I guess
Yeah,
you'll
and
find out if you're listening to it.
I'll be completely honest, Spotify did better than I thought too. 7 streams. I mean, that's not bad. It had 100 and something impressions, like where people clicked on it, and technically 100 listens. But if they don't hit the 60-second mark, then it doesn't count as an actual stream. So we actually had, technically, I think it said like 100 and something people clicked on it. Might be even more now, because that was like 2 weeks ago that I checked that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I
It
mean,
could be.
you know, maybe if we can make the initial punch,
Yeah.
people will be like, oh yeah,
Well,
let's
and let us
give this a
know.
shot.
It might be counterproductive since you will either be listening on Spotify or YouTube, but let us know if you listen to your podcast on Apple. We probably can make it work.
Yeah,
It was just a lot more difficult compared to YouTube and Spotify, so that's
Yeah.
why we left it out for now.
yeah,
But
Apple, you have
if
to.
enough of y'all
yeah.
really do. Yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
All right, well.
Topics of
Mr.
discussion.
Tristan, what are we talking about?
Have you heard of the 5.0 liter Coyote engine by Ford?
I have not. Tell me more.
All American, all 400 and 490 horsepower, I think, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Man,
480.
yeah, these new Gen Coyotes, man, they're not playing around. And it's pretty interesting.
They are built to modify.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that it's going that direction, because a typical 5.0, you know, it's almost always an old lady or an old man. Almost.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you know,
like the Corvettes of Ford engines, you know.
Yeah, for
Most.
sure.
and I just say most because I do know quite a few people with 5.0s. Mr. Antonio. I don't know if he still has that car actually.
But his is like what body style is that? I don't know the generations of Mustangs. All I know is
I don't either.
I think it's the 2012 to 2015 or something like that. That's the body style that I liked most, because it was like flat in the back. And then I heard a lot of Mustang people didn't like that generation because it was flat in the back. But to me, that was like the best looking Mustang, you know, real kind of like boxy and hard cuts, like harsh cuts and corners, not so smooth.
The Corvettes.
Oh yeah.
There was I don't know the generations of Corvettes either, but like you know, the black one that we have, it's
the ZR1.
09.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the back is just
flat.
Completely flat. I really like that. Because like the newer ones, well, not the mid-engine ones, but like before that, you know, they kind of got curvy.
So that would technically, what they go by the C's, right? That would be a C. Yours is a C6, and then there's a C7s, and then the new ones are C8s, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know that I mean, I think that's the generations, right? That's what I would be thinking.
I'm pretty sure.
No, so
Makes
Someone
sense to
else
me.
that listened to the podcast that recommended a project car for us was a C6 Corvette. Yes, you can get them fairly cheap. I don't know what
They are
fairly
pretty cheap.
cheap is, but probably more
Yeah.
than we were wanting to spend.
I was, man, I saw a video earlier this week. It was 2000, 2000 or 1999. And he was doing a video over why you should get that generation. It'd probably be like a C4 or C5, I'd think. Anyways, but he said he bought his, I mean, V8, everything
But it's the first LS, right?
for, yeah,
That was the first.
that. And it was like, I think total, and it had 50,000 miles on it, which is really good. But
Yeah.
I think he said he spent 15 grand, which, yeah, that's probably a little higher than we'd like for our, but still for a sports car, that's actually
Yeah, really
pretty
good.
decent.
And LS1's made 380 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah,
In a
something
little,
like that.
I mean, you're
And you
talking
can
Corvettes
throw,
are super light and small and,
yeah,
well, I wouldn't say small. They are pretty long, but they're light and good for
they're
cornering,
lightweight.
etc., etc. Easy to
Yeah,
build, one of those cookie
yeah,
cutter
easy to work
builds,
on.
some nitrous.
Yeah, exactly. You can throw whatever you want at that engine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How do we get off on that? Speaking of throwing stuff at engines, the new Coyote.
There you go. That's a good
Yeah,
that's a good
that was a good
wraparound.
I'm working. I'm
Yeah.
getting better.
Yeah, if you guys
Maybe it is the
are
beer.
if you guys listening are familiar with Cletus McFarland, um, great. But if you're not, don't go watch him because, like Houston said before, you won't want to watch us.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But no. If you are familiar with him, they're currently building, or I think they finished the builds actually, and I think the giveaway ended a couple days ago. But they were building to give away two F-150 single cabs, and they have the 5.0s in them, and they are making 900 something horsepower each one of them, and they're supposed to be reliable with 900 horsepower on a stock engine, completely stock.
that's crazy.
I don't even know if they changed anything on the fuel system. I didn't watch much of it until they got to the end. But I'm not entirely sure if they changed, like, I mean, a given on something like that, normally you're gonna have to change injectors,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if they changed injectors or fuel pump or whatever. I don't even know if they have like a build list, where you can go and look at it. But
Yeah, I'm not too sure because I was looking. Uh, this is kind of off topic a little, but like, so it was saying the rods are manly rods. So those are billet, have ARP studs already from the factory. So, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to, I don't know, already have fuel system you need, but.
yeah, for more power, yeah, definitely. But
You know,
talking about fuel
it,
systems, like the Honda, I didn't even know this at the time, and since I'm teaching myself how to tune, I've been learning more and more about how fuel systems work. So the Honda came with injectors that ran at a 95% duty cycle on a factory tune. They're pretty much maxed out. So if I would have known that whenever I was tuning it naturally aspirated, I would have changed the injectors a long time ago. But
yeah.
I didn't even know that, and that wasn't something that was recommended to me either. Which, when you're doing a naturally aspirated tune on something that small, anyways, throwing different injectors on there isn't necessarily gonna do anything.
Yeah.
You may end up with like a 30% duty cycle instead of running them full all the time. But now, and I don't know what the situation is on those Coyotes, but nonetheless,
I do have to apologize to the viewers real quick because we could be getting so much more insight at the moment because Mr. Heath Cosper was supposed to be our first guest. And if you know Heath, he knows everything about Ford, even before public knows about it. Actually, he has an inside source. But anyways, it is a shame. He could. Me and Tristan wouldn't even have to talk about it and do our research. He would take it over.
Yep, he would just.
Anyways, that's just a little side note. For our Ford episode, if that's what you want to call it. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, Heath is the Ford man. You know, he was the guy with the Ford Ranger, and then he got that. He had that huge ass. What it was an F-150, wasn't it? And the suspension squeaked.
Ford Explorer too.
Yep, the
From
Ford.
his mom, he had to drive sometimes.
Yep, but really surprising, his dad did not drive a Ford.
It was surprising.
His dad drove a Cummins.
Yeah. 9 seconds.
Yep. Thinking back to that still makes me laugh.
Yeah. He'd be an interesting person to have on as a guest. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, Heath is a Ford boy. I won't say man, but he is a Ford boy.
Yep, and he's got himself a Mustang too that he unsupercharged.
Uncharged.
Nope, he undid it. He took it off, as far as I know, for whatever reason. And I don't remember what that reason was, but I remember the reason sounding weird and not right. But I do remember the first time he gave me a ride in it. That car was fast. That was a fast car. But I think it was too fast for old Heather. That boy, when he got on it, he was shaking, man. He was like, this car scares me. Like, obviously.
Oh, Heathrow.
Yeah,
we'll have to, once he actually does get on to be a guest, we will have to ask him to go into depth about that story, because I want everybody in the podcast to meet Heath, which I'm sure.
If you're familiar with us from old times, you might have seen him once in a while. You know,
he's a hell of a guy.
Yep,
I'll leave it at that.
He played a character oftentimes, and
he really he made our Twitter post go up that one time with the edit Adrian made.
Yep. And then come to find out, that dude posted it on his own YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not? I sent that to the group chat. So I was cleaning up our YouTube because, you know, to get some of the extra stats, you've got to have all sorts of stuff public. So like who you're subscribed to and stuff like that has to be public. And I was going through it and I was like, man, we're subscribed to a lot of people. I want to, clean this up a little bit. So I started unsubscribing from a lot of people, and then come to find out we were subscribed to Heath. And I was like, oh, he has 2 videos posted. Let's go check this out. Harvey, you've got to start barking, dude. Come here. Anyways,
I was wondering what was going on.
Could you hear it, or was it subtle, or was it loud?
No, I didn't hear anything. It's like you froze.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I didn't hear a bark.
Gotcha.
Guess that worked out perfect.
But yeah, no, Heath posted it himself in like a Fortnite clip of something. I think it was Fortnite, or might have been. I think it was PUBG. But yeah, he had his own. It said "Scooter Kid Fail" or something like that. He posted it himself.
He's wanting the glory.
Yep. In case you guys haven't seen that clip, maybe we should put it on YouTube Shorts. I didn't even think of that.
We could.
Maybe we can post that tomorrow, which wouldn't be tomorrow for you guys. It would already be out.
Give you all a reason to go back and look through our videos. So.
Yep. So if you're watching this now, I can guarantee you that clip of Heath is going to be up by now.
A clip. We have so many.
Yeah. Yep.
So many. But that reminds me also, and I wish it was still up. I wish I never would have told him, but I remember this was way back in the day before TikTok was TikTok. It was called Musically, you know.
Yes.
And one day I was scrolling and I found Heath on there, and he had about 10, 15 videos of him singing. And I really thank myself every day. I don't know what got into me, but I screen recorded every one. Because as soon as I told him that same night, they were all gone off his page.
Wait. You screen recorded all of them?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, no, I do still have them.
That is awesome.
Would be something good to post for
that's what we
shorts.
should, is that technically revenge posting because he didn't get on the call with us tonight?
I think that would be a perfect kind of revenge. Plus, I think Heath has came to terms with our relationship. I don't know if that's the right word with him. That's just kind of what we do.
Yep.
He knew we were filming in the first place, so.
Yep. But
anyway.
and this we'll know too if he's even watching the content. So
it's true.
Heath,
we will.
If you're not watching, we're gonna know because you will hear this part. Love you.
He can't help himself. We will get a message in the group chat immediately. So, yeah, we will know. Actually, no, we'll just call out everybody right now. Kelby, I'm not calling out Adrian. That's different.
Adrian's got a legitimate reason. And I guess Kelby, in a way, does have a legitimate reason, too. He said his dad was supposed to be in the parade, and he stepped out, and so he had to go fill in for me, or he's sick or something. So I was like, okay, makes sense. But I did see Kelby in Hobbs today. Yep. I didn't even know you were in Hobbs. I didn't know Kelby was either. I was there watching Annika swim this morning. So
nice. How'd she do?
She did really good. She did.
That's good.
She's
it was her birthday recently as well, right?
Yep. No, and it's honestly pretty crazy because Annika, from like real young, she wasn't very athletic. Like she was in softball, soccer, but ultimately, it just wasn't for her. And then out of nowhere, she was like, "Oh, I want to do athletics and I want to do swim." Like, what? I knew of one person that did swim when we were in high school, and that was old Jace Salgado back in the day. That was the only guy that I knew.
I was going to say, spoiler alert, it wasn't Heath.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see Heath in a Speedo.
I would have been to every meet to watch that.
Every meet to watch the meat sweats get in the pool. But
no, that's cool. I honestly have a lot of respect for swimmers. Like, in the summer, I'll swim a couple laps. I'm winded.
Yeah. No, exactly.
It's
and they have some long ass races too. Like real long. But no, it was kind of weird because like it seemed like it was just natural to her. She's very good at it. It's very weird. It's very weird to say someone's good at swimming, Yeah. But she is. She is good at it. She's dropped since last season, since the beginning like of her swimming career last year, whatever. I think from last year to this year, she dropped like 13 seconds on one of her types of events, whatever. And that's pretty good. And then more recently, she dropped off like another 4 seconds or something, like breaking her own personal records. And like she got a ribbon tonight and a gold, or not a gold medal. She got a medal because she got third place in something.
She won the Olympics.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Maybe the Special Olympics. Sorry, Annika.
Congratulations, Annika, because I know she does watch our stuff. She shares every time, which is real. Her and Donovan. So
and Donovan's friend Keegan, he does as well.
Okay.
He's a cool kid too.
That sounds familiar. Keegan.
His mom was a teacher or is a teacher. Can't think of Savage.
Probably should not say. Oh, Savage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what her name is. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Who knows? So a swim meet. Do people like cheer the whole time?
Yeah,
Or is it
it's kind of weird. Yeah, it gets very,
like
very
they're
loud.
underwater, they can't even hear you? And
Yeah, they're all go, because like in Hobbs has this really, really fancy swim area, like a real fancy
I've
pool.
never
Like
been.
it goes up and like you're looking down at the whole pool kind of thing. It's really cool. But
Oh,
you'll
that's
just see
cool.
parents get up there and they're there yelling. They're like, "Go, go, go!" And it's like, can they hear you? You know, like.
Yeah, no.
But no, some of those races get like real, like I was saying, they're real long, and they'll
Yeah.
have like these posts that they put in the water that have the number of
Oh.
laps that they're on, so that you can keep
Oh,
track of
wow.
yourself. Yeah, yeah, it
Huh.
gets pretty intense. But when they go to flip around and go the other direction, they always have people on either side, and they're also yelling at you like, "Go, go!" Yeah, it's
That's that's interesting.
the first time
Huh.
we went. I was like, "How the hell do you cheer at a swim meet?" Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I just don't. Shout out to the people that do. I could never wear a Speedo. I couldn't even wear a Speedo in my own pool, much less in front of a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them, a lot of the dudes wear like shorts, like swim
Oh, okay.
shorts. But then there are the more confident ones, I guess, and they're in
Hey, that's
Speedos.
commitment, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't do
That
it.
is commitment.
I couldn't do it,
Well, and I've heard too,
especially,
they shave their legs as well,
yeah. I don't know if they do that in
for
high school, but I imagine
uh
maybe they do.
they don't want it bad enough.
I couldn't tell you if, but, you know, I just
Next
always think
next
back.
swim meet, you better go and touch a little high school boy and figure out. We should probably edit that out. That sounded terrible.
That does sound terrible. But
Well, if they listen to context, I'll know.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Now, like
Oh man.
being in high school though, like the wind could blow on my jeans the wrong way and I'd, get bricked up. I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine being in a bunch of people wearing a Speedo and then being in the water
I
and
did
being
not
like,
even think about that.
I can't get out right now. You're gonna have to wait a
Well,
minute.
what happens if your crush shows up to watch you?
Exactly. Then
You're
what?
done.
Yeah.
Stay in the pool.
Yeah.
Have the referees escort you out. Oh man. Yeah, I was in good old Hobbs, America today as well. Hence why we are doing it so late.
Oh yeah.
But my niece technically is her first birthday today, so got to celebrate that.
Oh, like
But it was fun.
on McKenna's side, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, wait
Yeah,
a
Kyler's
minute.
kid. Yeah, Kyler's kid.
Oh,
Which
that's
I've
cool.
always thought it, I think it's Jerry Seinfeld that said this, but I've always thought, a first birthday, even up to like age 5, I think that party's really for the parents. Because one, the kids don't remember,
Yep.
but I really think it's more for the parents. Because,
Hang out,
come on.
drink a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah,
see your
exactly.
pals. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I always thought was weird too? Baby showers.
I don't understand those still.
You
I
know,
don't.
it's like, yay,
Like,
you
hey,
had sex.
you got knocked up. Congrats.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I,
I mean,
don't
I like
understand.
for celebration, yeah, celebrate that you're
Yeah,
having a kid,
celebration,
but
obviously.
like it's
But,
just
like, I
sometimes
guess,
they're
though,
addressed
then
really weird.
isn't that conflict of interest with a gender reveal party? Because now that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really just more for the ladies. Because I forgot who told me. It might have been McKenna's dad. But like, so we were invited to the baby shower for Kyler's kid, and he's like, "I'm not going." I'm like, "Well, that's kind of weird." He's like, "That's for the women. Men don't go to the baby showers." And the more I thought about it, kind of right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know many men. Uh,
Yeah, besides maybe
and
the
if you're
father.
listening to this and you are a man, yeah, besides the father. But
Yeah.
it's coyote engines to baby showers. How far we've come.
Yep. If you're still
But
strutting
I,
along,
I was kind of thinking in my head as we were just going down this rabbit hole. I don't know. Maybe people like that. Like, yeah, it's informal and whatever to hear about cars, but maybe you just think we're funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, y'all do. If you made it this far.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
absolutely. Yeah, but that so
Uh,
yeah, are the rods forged then on those
I
coyotes? They
had
they would.
something pulled up. I would think so.
uh,
I had it pulled up. Where did it go? Huh.
so they used to have iron sleeves, and now they don't. I also found out, speaking of engines, and not to keep going back to the Honda, but I do have some stuff that I learned about the Honda. So the internals on that R series engine are forged stock. That is 100%
Oh,
true. So the only problem is like the block itself can handle a little bit over 300 horsepower before anything real
dang.
serious starts happening. Where the problem comes is the torque. So if you get to around 300 torque, you're going to start bending the rods because the rods,
Hmm.
like I said, they're forged, but they're real
Yeah.
skinny. They're not very thick. So
Okay.
a lot of times, like what I've seen is people will stroke it to the
Uh,
2.0 liter, build the bottom end with the
uh,
R20, which is it's the same R series type concept,
yeah.
right? Just the 2 liter version, so it's just slightly bigger. And they're put in very, very uncommon cars. But what they've done to make, 400 or 500 horsepower is they'll take the bottom end, throw it up there, and then on the top end, they'll just put a new cam in it and get some different,
Hmm.
like valve springs and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
obviously ARP head studs, that sort of thing, and different pistons. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Where I found myself the other day, there is a way to fully build that engine. It just costs like a lot for not a whole lot in return, and I want to get away from that.
Yeah. So just a little fun fact, because I didn't figure out about those rod. I know it does say the pistons are forged though. They're Molly forged. Anyways, so this crate obviously it does not come with a vehicle harness, exhaust manifolds, PCM, or an alternator, which is kind of surprising, but it comes from the factory, $15,000. That's not
Jeez.
terrible.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't really understand why it doesn't come with a harness,
Maybe.
considering
Well.
you gotta
Yeah.
have it for the coil packs at least. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That that
Maybe
doesn't
it's
make
because
too much
people are.
sense to me.
I don't know if anybody buying these and dropping them in random vehicles and then doing like a standalone ECU kind of thing.
Maybe.
Like that's the only thing I could think of. But even then, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was that popular to throw 5.0s into race cars. I mean, when we were looking at um,
Yeah.
World Cup, I only saw like 3 5.0s on there. you know, the rest
Yeah.
were.
Well, and it will be interesting. I think you will start to see these
Yeah.
quite a bit more.
Well, I think this new
Gen 4.
generation is it the Gen 4?
Yeah, this is what the website's saying.
Yeah, that is crazy. What about the elephant? I've only seen one person put one in
You
something, and
know,
that was old Cletus.
I always thought those engines were so cool.
Oh, and they are
And I
cast
can't
iron
even get
blocks.
over the price. The price is insane. But, 1,000 horsepower right out the box is also insane. So,
Is there room to grow on those though? Because that seems to be like Dodge's kind of current problem. Like 392s don't take boost very good.
no.
And then the 5.7s, nobody's building 5.7s.
And I don't really understand why, because I've watched quite a few videos on those, and like as far as say you have a 5.7 charger, like something you already have. Obviously, you're not buying a 5.7 crate, but like most of
Hopefully
the
not.
stuff, yeah, most of the stuff though, like the supercharger off the Hellcat, it's almost direct bolt on, and then you tune obviously, but like a lot of the stuff you can kind of mix and match. So I don't know.
And people are
But
always selling those Hellcat superchargers on Facebook, where
exactly.
they're like upgrading
That
to a Whipple or something, and then they're
yeah.
selling them, and they're not selling them for very expensive. I saw one on Facebook Market the other day for like $1,500.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
we were originally thinking for the dragster. We thought how to cuz 6.1s don't take boost super well either. But we thought about because there's only one other guy I've found that has done it is putting a Hellcat engine in the dragster, and then you just kind of it's cool. You kind of have the air cleaner, sticking out the side. It looks really cool. But he was reporting all he's had done to it was obviously a tune and a smaller pulley on the supercharger, but he's reporting 530s in the eighth, which
it's pretty good.
no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That's the quarter because I run 570s in the eighth. So
Oh, I was gonna
yeah,
say that's
no.
still pretty quick. That's like a
Yeah,
and
no, it's still pretty decent. But I always thought that because you see those on Facebook Marketplace all the time too.
oh yeah.
But
And
yeah, to answer your question,
your dragster runs what 800 horsepower naturally aspirated.
yeah, that's kind of what we've never actually had it on a dyno, but these where we're getting our numbers is just like predicted sheets
Well, and you can do
from what we have.
weight and run
Yeah,
times, your
exactly.
trap times and stuff, and you can configure it that way too. Which
Yeah.
air pressure goes into effect, but I'm sure you've got
Oh yeah.
probably some. Do you do like data logs on them or?
So we we actually don't, and I wish we could just like the company Race Pack that does these data loggers. It's just so expensive. Like for bare minimum, like it would just track RPM, oil pressure, very basic stuff. For the kit, it's $7,000,
Oh,
and
geez.
we just can't bring ourselves to. So I mean, we kind of do data log though. Like I have my spreadsheet, and after each pass, we enter in 60 foot, all that, what the barometric pressure was, humidity, all that good stuff. So kind of get an idea of what it
Right.
likes and what it doesn't like. But yeah, to answer your question, not really.
So
But
what kind of ECU do you have in it then?
it's the MSD6,
Okay, gotcha. I
which
didn't know if you were
the
running a Holly because Holly
no,
makes a standalone too. I think
yes,
I
yeah,
imagine.
that's kind of something we have looked into because I've heard the Holly, their whole deal is really really easy to work with, and it has a lot of support. Um, I don't remember how we ended up with the MSD6 because it's older than dirt. I mean, to install the software for your computer, it's a it's literally a DVD to
Oh,
install the software. So we've had to get pretty creative with it, but all we use that for, since it's carbureted, is timing, stall, and then the rev limiter. So really not too much, but Yeah, I wish it data logged though. That would be pretty cool.
I gotcha. But I think we were talking about the elephant. You said you were going to
Yes,
answer
yeah,
my
we
question.
we took a road. Um, I don't know how they could top it, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure somewhere deep in the SRT engineering department, they probably have some stuff tucked away, you know. But yeah, as of right now, I don't know. I don't really know how you could beat the elephant. It's like to top it. Obviously, that'd be pretty tricky.
Well, I mean, as it comes, is it maxed out that way, or are people like tuning them? I guess is kind of more of my question because like I said, I've only seen one person purchase one of these, and it was put into that Cletus I think called it the mini TRX or something, and it was like a
Yeah.
single cab Ram, yeah. And so I hadn't
Yeah.
seen anything besides that. I mean that like you were saying, 1100 horsepower, that's crazy. But are they going in something and these people are like, okay, let's turn up the boost a little bit? Like, is that's a pretty small pulley that's already on there too.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the specs right now. I wish it would show the pulley size. Um, okay, so it's showing, if you do buy this, it actually comes with separate pulleys, so you can tune it that way. As far as like the ECU though, I'm not too sure.
I bet
I
it's
do find it
probably
interesting.
another
It runs on
standalone kind of
premium
thing.
unleaded though. That's interesting because the Demon 170, that's E85. Huh.
Demon 170. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah,
What's new on that? Is your dad getting one?
he has one. They came out
Oh,
about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
oh, well,
Maybe less than that.
that's how in touch I am with it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Well, and
no,
it seems like
he has one.
the demons almost seem like a flop in a way. The first one, it was really built up, like, oh, this is a crazy amount of power. It's the cheapest. Like, I mean that car was cool as shit. Like, don't get me wrong, that was cool as shit. I think personally that was a fun fucking car to ride in. I had never felt anything like that. And then, but it seemed like it was like it died out because they didn't make very many of them. I'd have to imagine, like they
Yeah.
almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot because, like on one hand, I see why they would make like minimal amounts of them. Like here, we're gonna
Limited.
have limited, but when they do something limited like that, then oftentimes someone's gonna buy 5 or 6 of them, and have a
Yeah, and
collection.
then
And then
yeah.
everybody else that got one, they're gonna turn around and try to sell it for way more than what they got it for too. And then
Yeah.
it just seemed like round two. I do remember, like thinking back now, I do remember hearing about the newer demon, but I didn't see really
I
much
don't
of anything on YouTube about it either.
I guess I don't what I don't understand is why they did it again. Which so I mean obviously there's a lot of differences. This is 1,025 horsepower from the factory. Runs a 891 at 151. But well, oh, and 0 to 60 in 1.66.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Well, and what was the first generation demon that did what 2.3 0 to 60 or something like that?
Yeah, so
That it's
I'm trying to
very
figure out
fast
what's different
no
about it
matter
though.
what.
But I don't understand. I don't know. I guess they thought people would see 1,000 horsepower from the factory and be like, hell yeah, and trade it or sell the original demon. But I also wonder too if this was kind of like the good buy, since you got the electric
Mm-hmm.
charger deal, which really still not too happy about that. But
How's your dad feel about that?
I really haven't talked to him about it too much. I don't know, he hasn't gotten too in depth about how he feels about. He's been talking a lot about the new trucks, which I do really think are cool. It's so you got the TRX, but I don't know why it took Ram and Dodge so long to like compete with the game of like the Raptors. So obviously you got the TRX, that's great, but it's not fuel efficient.
Right.
But so this year they have, I think it's the RHO, something like that, another acronym. Anyways,
Of
uh,
course.
yeah, it's their new Hurricane engine, which my mom's Jeep actually has one as well. It's a twin turbo V6. So
Okay.
like kind of like Nissan style, or I'm sorry, Toyota. You know,
Well,
it's really
everybody's
cool to see them.
like,
Yeah, but it's really cool to kind of see them go that option. And I've rode in it. It's pretty impressive. At 485 horsepower out of the factory, which
yeah, I
not
think
bad.
I think that's equivalent to the TRD Tundras.
Okay,
Yeah. And that's
but
something
yeah,
that's always boggled me too, because I mean I got an SR5 Tundra, which is,
mm,
far from the TRD package, but the TRD makes 100 more horsepower. I've I really think it's just a tune. I haven't done much research on it, mainly because I don't
yeah,
care. It's my truck. Like
yeah.
um but I mean I'm sure it's the same engine. Are they just slapping
I
some
would
different
imagine so.
injectors and a different tune on them and upcharging,
Yeah,
like here's this TRD version that's 85,000, or you can get the SR5 with the 100 less horsepower for, you know,
yeah.
70,000, and then it's like maybe that's why they're locking the ECUs too, is because they're like, well, someone could
Could
just
be.
buy the SR5s and tune it, and then they have a TRD. And I mean, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
the TRD comes with different suspension, different wheels
sure.
and tires. I get all of that, but ultimately, if you're what's the word? Chasing speed, you don't really give a shit about all the
Yeah,
extra random stuff from factory, all of that can be altered in the
yeah,
future.
yeah. No, exactly. I'll bet you're right though. Which kind of does bring us to one of our point. I don't know what point we're on now,
Me
but
neither. We've just been
ECUs, new vehicles versus kind of our older favorites. You know,
yeah,
we were talking earlier before we started recording, but man, it seems like all the ECUs nowadays are locked, kind of making it. Not saying there's not a way around it, because there is. But man, what? Why do you think they did that? Is it?
I bet it's got to be some, like, realistically it's probably some sort of legislation, like
Yeah,
the
I'm sure that
government
plays a
kind
big
of
part.
putting something in there, like we want people to stop modifying cars for whatever reason. The government's always been like that. They don't like people racing,
California.
etc. Exactly.
Yeah.
And one quick way, especially on a lot of modern, like anything that comes with the turbo, they're not maxing out these turbos to full
No.
capability. They're tuning them typically just for fuel efficiency,
Yeah.
But my Nissan, it's got a turbo. My truck, it's got two turbos in it. And if they're not running max capacity, like even in my Nissan, I've got a boost gauge in the car. That's like a digital boost gauge, right? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it shows that it can go up to 30 pounds, but it only gets up to 15, 20 pounds. So then it's like,
Mm.
okay, well, why can't I unlock the rest of that? Just get a little plug and play tuner, 500-600
Yeah.
bucks, like, back in the day, what people would do with diesels. You just get
Yeah.
yourself, or even with older Chargers and stuff, you get a little
Oh
Diablo,
yeah.
plug that bitch in, and it has presets like, oh, if you modified the exhaust, oh, if you have a cold air intake, oh, if you change the diameter of your intake, oh, if you did this, then you select these different parameters, and it makes a base map tune. It's not going to be the same for everybody every single time, but it at least
Yeah.
will kind of unlock some
Close
more
enough.
power. You can't even do that
Yeah.
on a lot of these modern vehicles, like my truck or my car, or like you said, your truck. You can't just go.
Yeah.
Like another example is the new Supras. It's got a what is that BMW engine? It's like the big talk
Uh,
of modern tuners. I'm
I
gonna
know
I'm
you're
gonna look it
talking.
up. Ah. It has the B58. That's what it is. B58.
Okay.
You know, the turboed V6, whatever. It's the modern day 2JZ is what they're saying. Which, whatever. People can say that all they want, but they blow up way too easily. But even the new Supras, like they're not coming at full performance capabilities. And I get it. It's for safety. You obviously want someone to be able to put 100,000 miles on their car and not have any failures. But if someone's buying something like that and they're like, well, I want to, tune it, whatever, you can't even do it. You've got to send the ECU off to someone so that they can delete the safety features on it, essentially, and
Yeah.
unlock it for you. They're just adding more hoops. I mean, people are still doing it, but
Oh yeah.
like nobody's
It's kind of a
modifying
pain in
a
the
lot
butt.
of a lot of stuff like that. Everybody's still going, old school, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to pull a wiring harness off of a B58 Supra and throw it on something
Yeah.
else, You're going to more than likely, if you are using a B58 and something that's not a BMW or a Supra, you're going to be having a standalone ECU anyways.
Yeah.
But now it
Yeah.
just it just makes typical like modifications harder, I guess.
It used to be a lot easier. I say that like we were modifying cars those days,
Oh,
but
we were watching people do it, that's for sure.
yeah,
And
when
hoping
we
that,
were born.
yeah, hoping that we could get there someday. And now that the day is here that we could do that, it's number one, much more expensive. And number two, you can't just go buy a car and start modifying it really
Yeah.
without, well, I mean, you can, like throwing an exhaust on, but that's the problem too. You go throw an exhaust on some turbocharged from factory car, that changes a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Might take off some back pressure from the turbo. You might end up getting some boost creep, just stuff like that. And then you can't even adjust it yourself.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it'll even throw codes. Like I remember, I think it was my black truck. All I did was get a cold air intake through a code as soon as I put it on, just because I guess how the
Diameters changed.
aftermarket one, yeah, it had the MAF sensor play. I don't know, but like I literally actually had to end up sending it back
Oh,
just
geez.
because it was. I don't know. It just really sucked.
Yeah. Well, even on the Honda back in the day, when we pulled the the catalytic converter off to put that header on there, and then it lived with that engine code until I got
Yeah.
a tuner for it. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's because it's not reading correctly, but
Yeah.
again, back to modern vehicles, you start getting codes like that, you can't even clear them yourself. That's kind of weird,
Exactly.
Once you own the car, why are these manufacturers locking you out of your own car, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the Tesla deal, how it can self-diagnose, which is cool, but like how it'll just order the stuff for you without.
Does that really happen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There have been cases where it went ahead and ordered the stuff and they're getting a charge from Tesla. Like, no, like, the car's still working, but
I didn't want to pay for
then
that
my
yet.
card was charged. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to pay for it yet either. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's pretty interesting stuff. Just
Well, like we had a little issue a couple weeks ago where my Tundra key got washed in the washing machine, and it
yeah.
fried the computer inside the fob, and it's a push to start, which
Yeah.
we found a way to start it without that mat,
Okay.
but nonetheless, we can't even call someone local and just order a key offline and then have them
Yeah.
rekey it, because Toyota will not give you the code. You have to work for Toyota to get the code to rekey them. Like, that to me, that's just, it's real slimy in a way, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about my work truck, and that's what I like about the Honda, is it's pretty old school. You go put a key in there and you twist it and you start it,
Yeah.
Like push to start's cool and
Well,
all, but
isn't that cool?
yeah.
Well, and like, who does Toyota think they are? The freaking FBI to know this code?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do to ex-employees? Do they kill them after if they say
So
they're quitting?
so I think it's
Take them out back?
yeah. But I think it's per VIN, so they have to request the code for
Oh,
your VIN, and it's not like a pin that you
I
can use across the
guess.
board, because that would leak, that would
Oh yeah,
definitely
100%.
have leaked. Um, but no, it was very frustrating trying to figure it out. Like ultimately, if we wouldn't have figured out how to start the truck, which come to find out, you take the fob without a battery in it, that little computer in there can still sense the computer being right there. We had to push it right up to the button, click start, and it would
Yeah.
start.
Huh.
Luckily.
Yeah.
But if that wouldn't have happened, I was about to pay $250 for someone to come haul it out of here and take it all
Yeah.
the way to
Tow it.
Roswell.
Huh.
Yeah. And then it was how much did it cost to rekey the Tundra? $450 or something?
Wow.
Wife, how much did it cost to rekey the Tundra? Yeah, $450.
That's ridiculous.
It was $250 for the key, or $200 for the key, and then 200 and whichever direction. It was 250 and 200. One of the charges was
Yeah.
for the key, the
Huh.
other charge was for labor and for them to rekey it.
Labor.
Yeah.
Probably took them 10 minutes.
Yeah, how long did it take him to rekey it? 30 minutes. But that's probably getting signed in and then
Yeah,
pulling it
exactly.
around and plugging in the computer and chit chatting and then rekeying it, and yeah. Now I worked for your dad for long enough. I know how those techs work. Not talking trash on them, but I know how they work.
Well,
I know
yeah.
how I work.
That's yeah. That's well, and I was just thinking about that too. That's probably with just about every company.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Probably sitting around the water cooler. Look at this idiot. He just got to get a new key
yeah,
washed in his pants. I guarantee that's probably one of the most common
yeah. So
visits
when
to
I
the dealership.
when I called the towing company, they actually had a guy that day. He was like, "We're busy right now, hauling someone," because I was trying to schedule a date with him. Then I told him, and I
Yeah.
told him what was going on. He's like, "You know what's funny is the guy that we towed this morning. His wife washed his key in his pants." Said the same exact thing, and I was like, "Well, he probably didn't know that you could put the fob right up to the push to start and
Yeah.
start it." Which I got very lucky that it was like the day before. I was like, there's got to be another way to start this
Yeah.
freaking truck without having to have the key fob, or at least a
Like if you think
battery in
you're,
it.
an emergency or something.
Right. And what
Like I
happened?
know.
Because I know back in the day when push to start first started coming out, that they all had a key with it too. I mean, the little keys, they all
Yeah.
do. But you could I think on some cars you could put the key in and crank it over by hand still, couldn't you? Am I
think
remember?
so.
I want to say I'm remembering that correctly. I could be wrong, but you know, why not have a safety feature like that? You know, as long as you got the
Yeah,
cut key, have somewhere that you can manually crank the
put it
vehicle
in. Yeah,
over. You know, that's as old school and reliable as it can get. You know,
yeah.
and the shitty part about Toyota, while I'm going on a rant about Toyota, um, when we bought the truck, um, back in we bought it in 22. And at that time, all the brand new vehicles, they were only selling with one fob. You had to pay extra, a lot extra, to get a second key.
Huh.
Yep.
That doesn't. Hmm. That's that's interesting.
Yeah. You know, why not just add your little sneaky charge on top of the whole vehicle expense
Yeah, no,
and give
exactly.
me two fucking keys? You know,
Yeah.
sorry for the F
Huh.
bomb, but it
Yeah,
just,
that doesn't make much sense.
nope. And I think it had something to do with the computer chip shortage, but come on, man.
Oh, probably.
Just charge me extra. Put the fries in the bag. You
Yeah. Well, and even if it was a computer shortage, like they could have kept track of every vehicle sold during the shortage and then said like we will mail you your second set of key whenever this is all resolved. Like, because yeah, that sucks.
Right.
Gotta have spare key. Gotta.
Houston, being the Americana man that you are, you know, you like your Hemis.
I do.
What is your favorite tuner car?
My favorite tuner car. I do have a list. Um, what's the favorite? So obviously, just like everybody else, I really do love the Supra. So much has been done with those. But man,
There's one car I'm hoping that you say, and maybe you won't think of it, but I think there's one.
I don't know. It's still like a goal for me to own this car one day, even though the engine is huff. I love the RX-7s.
Okay, that's okay. There we go. An FDRX7. I had it pulled up on my other
There we
screen.
go.
I was like, this man better say the RX-7.
No, I just love how they sound. I love how they look. They're quick.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, Mr. Tristan?
Favorite
It could be
tuner
tuner
cars?
or American Muscle, yeah.
Well, my favorite American muscle car. What's tough on that is like I've only been in like one brand frequently.
Mm,
So, you know, I'm
yeah,
pretty, what's the word? Biased in a way.
I got
I
you.
love the
Yeah,
way, you know, like the way your 392 sounded back in the day.
yeah.
I love
That was a really fun car.
I love the Hellcat wines, but you know, something about it, the old catfish Camaros. A lot of people
Hmm.
don't like them, but that's honestly in like my top 5 list of cars that
Catfish
I
Camaros.
would like to have. You know, an old Z28. Yep,
Yeah,
LS1 baby.
do
You
like
know,
Camaros. Yeah.
yeah, it's something about it. Like it's it's kind of like, you know, you see a dog sometimes that you're like, man, that thing's so ugly that it's like kind of cute. You know, That-
I, I thought somehow this was gonna tie into your video you posted that one day of a National Dog Day or National Pet Day. And it was a stuffed animal dog, but it looked very real. And you kicked it across the room
yeah.
and posted that.
Yeah, I get a notification from Snapchat every year about that video, so I think
Yeah.
about it often, you know.
Yep.
But no, something about it. It's always
Yeah.
been like I like them.
They're not my cup of tea, but I'm not biased either though. I don't like the so what is it? the Pontiac. What was it? The Grand Prix or the Firebird? Like they looked pretty, semi similar.
Hmm.
I don't know, just not my cup of tea. Because I do like Camaros. I really do. I really like the older, like
60s,
69,
70s.
70. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought those were really. And honestly, I do like the new ones too. They don't bug me all that much.
No.
Their renditions, though, they're kind of getting out of hand.
Yeah,
Like the little small changes.
yeah. Yeah, and everybody's doing it, man. I
Yeah, no, it's not
honestly
just them.
hate the new Mustang body style. I think they're
Really.
ugly. They look too what's the word? Like smooth. Like they
Yeah.
look too smooth. And I don't know if that's necessarily how I mean it, but I like I like when cars have like, they're
The
sleek, but
little
they've got
box.
some edge, some
Yeah.
corners and some hard cuts on them. Like to me that I
Yeah.
think that looks good. I don't like that they're like almost moving in a direction that it's eventually just going to be like this oval kind
A
of.
teardrop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
And even the newer Camaros are doing the same thing. Like they're just
Yeah.
becoming really smooth looking, and it like bothers me in a weird way, like almost like Uncanny Valley, but with cars. It's
Yeah.
like you look like you could be a muscle car, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you just look smushed.
Well, and I gotta say, like, that's as much as they weigh, but like challengers, they have always, granted they've had some little renditions throughout the years, but like they have stuck pretty true to what they originally were, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
That it's got that same shape that it did, back in the 70s.
We won't talk about the darts or the chargers though.
Yeah, no. Those are the dart, that was a flop. The old darts look badass, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but
Yeah. Speaking of
those
darts,
new ones.
I was on my way home from work on Friday, and over at Plains Welding Shop, out
Yeah.
pulls a little dart, right? You know,
Huh.
and it had an AutoZone scoop on it, and like some stickers on the paint of like flames
Oh.
and some vinyl stripes going on it. It was gray, and then it was like had some orange on it. Yeah, and then I was expecting it to, roll by me. And darts, I've seen, like, there was a guy that tried to be all involved around us for a little bit. Do you remember that weird crackhead dude that had that white dart?
I think so.
Like, it happened while we were in high school. He always was trying to race me or whatever. But
Think so.
he had an exhaust on it, and those darts do not particularly sound very good, Very,
They went a very interesting direction with
very
bringing the dart back.
farty. Like that's what I was
Yeah.
expecting from this guy when he was rolling past me, because he was hauling ass, and he came by me and it was completely quiet. I was like, wow, you didn't even cut your muffler off. That's weird,
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't understand why they couldn't have given it a different name and let the original dart
Just
die out
die.
in peace.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, for a commuter car, you live in the city trying to save gas. Yeah, that's probably a great idea. And then the rally I thought was kind of interesting for a while. It was a single turbo 4-cylinder, I believe, with a 5-speed manual in it.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting. I mean, I think it was like 200 horsepower or something, which, that's a light car. It probably got up and went. But yeah, they chose a very interesting direction with that car.
Yeah. Modern cars in general are really like it's going in this really weird direction. Like everything's got so much horsepower, man. Like
Yeah, it's
back in the day in the Honda, Like even just 4 years ago, like I was just chasing 220 horsepower, right? And that's still the goal. 220
Yeah.
wheel horsepower is what I want out of that Honda. And that'll be quick. But a 12-second pass at the drag strip is not even fast anymore.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's just like a common, okay, you bought a 5.0, it runs 12 seconds. Good job. Like it's not even, thank you. It's not even impressive anymore in a
yeah.
really weird way. And so then the Honda, like even if I was to do a bunch of weight reduction, like it weighs 2,600 pounds or something.
Yeah.
And then do some weight reduction, racing seats and steering wheel, different wheels. It does need different wheels because those wheels are heavy as fuck. But even then, it's maybe at the drag strip, it'll run maybe a low 14, high 13,
Hmm.
But even for me, I would be happy with that because that car was an 18-second car.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's,
that's true.
to me, that's progress. And then people in
Oh
the
yeah.
YouTube comments, they always talk this, that, whatever. But the Honda, you've driven it, it always
Yeah.
just felt fun.
Yeah, no, it is a fun little car. And it is quick.
And my
But I
Nissan
mean all
Altima is faster
yeah.
than my Honda. It won't be for much longer, but I get in that and it's just I don't get the same feeling. Like, yeah, you know what, because the Nissan does 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds, which isn't all that crazy, but that's pretty quick for something that only has 230 horsepower.
Yeah.
Probably got a little bit more than that because the car weighs almost 4,000 pounds, you know.
Yeah.
But getting in that and hauling ass in that compared to hauling ass in the Honda, two different experiences. You get the turbo sound and the
Yeah.
exhaust, and it's different.
To me it's just kind of like purpose I don't want to say built, but like I will say it, just like purpose built vehicles, like uh, don't come at me, all our viewers and listeners. I don't think anything's wrong with, you know, a Raptor or having a fast truck. But like it seems like everything's fast now,
Yeah.
like I'll hit on Dodge a little bit. Like even the Hellcat Durango. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Ridiculous
okay.
in a way.
Yeah, like it's just like cars, they're kind of all merging together to your needs, I guess, per se. It's like we don't really have, kind of like you were talking about, like your Ultima, like, yeah, it's quick. Does it need to be that quick though? Like, or do you need
No.
it just for driving around town, fuel efficiency? It's like it goes back to having sport modes and everything. Like
Hmm.
McKenna's Grand Cherokee, it has a sport mode in it. Why?
What does the sport
Not
mode do in that?
it just turns off the variable valve timing,
Oh, gotcha.
the VVT. But like it, I guess all that to say, and I'll kind of end with this is like it. I guess it takes away that pride of like, yeah, like I just went and bought a sports car. Okay,
Oh.
well, let me pull up in my 392 Jeep and
Yeah.
whoop your ass. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
just kind of, it's not the same as it used to. A truck used to be a truck. You use that for hauling stuff around, and then if you wanted to go fast, you bought a sports car.
Yeah. But I mean,
And now you can kind of just have all in one, which I'm
we
not dissing it at the same time either. I do think it's cool. Like, yeah, nobody asked for it, a Hellcat Durango, but kind of cool at the same
Yeah,
time.
and like you just said, they didn't even stop there. They went down the line. You've got the Hellcat, then you've got the 392 Durango, and then you've got
392
the
Jeep Wrangler.
yeah, you've got the
I mean,
5.7 Durango, and then they go back to the little compound single turbo 4-cylinder that Dodge makes.
yeah,
That's 200 horsepower. You know, they go all the way down. But it's so weird, man. Like it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool. But
It's cool. It's just, I don't know, kind of takes away from the
modification,
special.
like
Yeah.
personal modification, you know, you're building something to make it fast. And, you know, the old cringe saying was always, you know, built not bought kind of thing. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
But now it's everybody's just buying and then, you know, let's throw an exhaust and an intake on it and let's tune it. Let me get a cam, and then it's like, okay, what else are you gonna do? Nah, nothing.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. You've got 550 horsepower right there. Like, good for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Call me old school, but
Yeah, I know that's what we sound like right now. But I mean, it's true though. Like, you know, putting in that amount of work to get where you want to be, that, you know, there's a lot of pride in that.
yeah.
You know, now you can go buy it, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. In essentially an SUV.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
Cool.
don't know.
Definitely cool. Like I'm not against it in any way, shape, or form.
By any means, I'm not dissing it at all, but I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. No. There was something I was gonna say too about that. But you know, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Well, and you know, I guess a way of thinking about it is, you know, the guys like Cletus. I guess you got to take what you get from the dealership and find a way to make that faster.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of just like playing the cards you're dealt, which I mean, that's just kind of the new age of it. I think though is finding ways around it and finding ways to make these already fast cars a lot faster to set you apart.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of, I guess, what we were getting at is at a point it seems like everybody just starts blending in if you have the money to go buy one of these vehicles, you know, like, yeah, you're fast, but so is your neighbor down the street.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then a lot of people that are buying these they're just buying them because they have the money too. Like around here.
No, exactly.
You know, you'll
like it's not like you need it, I guess, which you could make the argument that nobody needs to go fast, but you know, I guess that's an argument for another time.
Yeah. No,
But,
like so you said Toyota. Well, let's continue to shit on Toyota. Toyota's dropping out of the NHRA.
yeah. So that was kind of really our news for this episode, but they were announced earlier this week that at the end of the 2025 season they would be pulling all sponsorship. I don't know why. Like they just got in and kind of got reputable, I guess. Like, you know, because I definitely think the younger generation, they were all for it, but you know, you kind of have the older crowd that, you know, needs to be American muscle bodies. Like that's all it even is. Like, you know, we talked about this last episode, but yeah, I will be interested to read more as it comes out. It doesn't really make sense why they're pulling out all sponsorship because they, you know, really just got into it. But
so are we not going to see any more Supra body 20 cars?
they'll still make them. They're just like, so they make like new renditions of bodies for like all of them, you know, down the line, like every 5 years or so. We just won't see a new rendition of it because I actually don't know about Toyota, but like Dodge and Chrysler, Dodge and Chevrolet and Ford, like it's all aftermarket uh, companies that actually make the bodies.
I got you.
They just have the rights and designs from those
Yeah,
automakers.
you know more about how that end of it works than I do.
But I would assume Toyota's the same. It's like actually I know one of the bigger body companies is Roush.
Hmm.
Roush makes the majority of those funny car bodies,
They make a
which
lot
is
of body
interesting.
kits too, don't they? Like the
Yeah,
real
but
popular in the Mustang world.
yeah, very popular. But I don't know. I thought that was weird. I don't really know why they jumped ship so soon, but it kind of makes you wonder too if they might start pulling out NASCAR that direction too.
Hmm.
But
Wonder how Nissan's doing.
yeah, who knows? Nissan.
Yeah. No, gosh dang it. I lost my train of thought again. Now, do any top level NHRA drivers have YouTube channels?
Yeah, so they've kind of it, it's kind of weird right now. So like there are quite a few young drivers like at that level, but there's also like quite a few in the sportsman ranks, kind of like me, and they realize that nowadays for sponsorship, social media sells. So it's not just kind of like how good you are anymore, how many races you win. It's more of like, okay, that's really good, but like how many followers do you have? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So a lot of the younger racers get that, but I've seen quite a few older drivers. They're starting to get acclimated with making YouTube videos each race, uh, kind of stepping into that because yeah, you got to have it nowadays. But
Yeah.
yeah, there quite a few are starting them, or they'll hire somebody to come
Yeah.
film them,
Yeah.
which
It always
that'd be nice.
it's always like mind-boggling to me cuz a lot of those top drivers, they have other jobs, don't they?
Um,
'Cause I don't know how they
yeah,
necessarily make their money except of like, except from sponsorships and stuff. If you're not
well,
winning, how long
yeah,
can you keep building these before they're like,
well, and I mean, winning doesn't even pay the bills. It's winning nowadays. It maybe you can break even for just attending the race and burning the fuel and using the parts. Um, so there's kind of two groups. Uh, the first group is kind of trying to think of a way to say this. That's nice. It's more,
recreational,
yeah,
some
recreational
some
kind
rich
of mom and
guy
pop
like
operation. Yeah. So they either own their own businesses or they're really good friends with somebody who owns a successful business, and they won't run the full schedule. That's kind of their scenario. The second is I'll give you a perfect example. So Tony Stewart, this was his first year racing full time Top Fuel. How he makes his money is a sponsorship. So Dodge was his sponsor. So obviously they pay for the car, all that jazz, the crew, but then he's getting salary as well as a PR guy.
gotcha.
Because yeah, the the amount of money now, it's just so crazy. But that's kind of the other side is they are corporate owned, I guess, per se.
Hmm.
And that's their job actually. It's a pretty cool job because you get a salary to go out, and I mean obviously that comes with having to do PR events,
Right.
commercials, that kind of stuff. But that's how a majority of them make their money.
Yeah. Interesting world. So is that kind of your goal to get up to that level?
Yeah, I definitely to that level of, well, I would even be happy with, the level of just knowing somebody and being really good friends with somebody that has a large enough business to where,
Or hey, if our fans support us well enough,
yeah,
you know?
exactly that too. Because I mean, like if that's the case, like obviously you still have to work a job when you get home, but 9 times out of 10 you gotta be the owner of that company because you leave on Wednesday
Hmm.
to go out there and get set up and come back Monday. So, it's
Two
not
day
really
2 day
ideal
work
for,
week.
yeah, exactly. It's really not ideal for working for somebody else and taking off that much time. But no, that's definitely the goal one day for sure.
Good
But
goal. Good goal to have.
yeah, hey, we'll see. We got time. We're working up there.
Yeah.
Up and coming racers.
Yeah.
That's something you got to have on your resume nowadays. Is
Social
which I
media
don't think it's a bad thing,
a
but
social media presence, not even
yeah,
necessarily YouTube. I mean, it could be
yeah,
TikTok,
no, a
Instagram,
social
whatever,
media presence for sure.
but it's paying the bills for quite a few people.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it really, I've noticed it's changed the game quite a bit with, sportsman racer. Because I would call Cletus a sportsman racer. Like, that's kind of what the class is. But, from which obviously that's what I'm trying to do. Because, yeah, like you can go around and ask for sponsorships, but oh man, to have fan base as well,
Hmm.
and you're selling merch, that helps out a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
as far as the future,
that's
oh
a
god,
that's kind of the dream goal.
yeah,
I
no,
really want to
100%.
put a lot of effort into the Mob Squad stuff, and I mean we're on track to, like, we're doing really good. I don't know if I showed you, but a lot of our older videos, people are going back and watching even old stuff and coming back and
Oh, that is
watching
good.
new stuff. Like, it's pretty crazy because I was looking at like the top content from the month. I mean, obviously the shorts are doing really good, but then like you've got old videos that are popping up. Like
Yeah, they're still
R18
doing good.
Civic Turbo Part 1 got 100 views in the last 2 weeks. Like,
That's exciting. Well,
so if,
thank y'all.
yeah. So,
By the way,
oh, were we back on the podcast stuff?
well, I wasn't too sure. That's kind of why I just started talking because I figured if you wanted, you could just split the clip and
No.
since we were talking
Uh,
about it, but I mean, I guess it'd be fine. We're talking like we regularly would.
yeah. But the channel's growing pretty good.
Yes.
Really, really is. We're
Yeah.
at 1,133 subscribers, and we just broke 1,100, what, last
That
week?
is exciting. How close are we to
Uh,
1,200?
67, 67 subscribers away.
That could be something.
We'll
That could
probably,
be a giveaway,
yeah.
y'all.
I imagine if we keep posting at this rate, we'll probably get there by the end of the month.
Yeah,
So
I think so as well.
that's a that's a goal, you know. But no, YouTube is definitely doing, like, I mean, social media in general has done really, really good for people that, it allows a lot of people to really live out their dreams, I guess.
Yeah,
You
that they
know,
might have never had a chance
right.
otherwise.
Yeah. And some of the stories, some of the ways that it happens too, like just all by coincidence. Like, I know
Yeah,
we talked a lot about Cletus, but I mean, he seems like a really good dude. Never met him, but
he does.
he's got all of his friends that, they work for him. Obviously, he pays them a salary, and they're in YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and they're like, I couldn't imagine a better job than going in,
Getting to do that every day.
making YouTube videos and working on cars, like stuff that you get to drive, not being a mechanic out at a shop that someone brings in a car, you fix it and you send it. Like a performance based mechanic, that to me, that would be
dream goal, for sure.
Yeah. And then not even just that, but doing giveaways and everybody's like, oh, that's
make other people's dreams come true too,
Yeah. Yeah.
For buying a $5 sticker or whatever,
Yeah. No, it's definitely pretty cool. And the car giveaways have been going on for a long time, but and everybody's like, oh, it's for a tax break, whatever. And it's like, okay, dude, but at least they're giving something out that's cool as shit to someone that probably that may not have been able to pay to build it on their own. And the smart thing that they started doing too is a lot of people like, okay, I'm going to talk shit on Mr. Beast because he gave away an island to a guy, right? And the guy had to just sell the island and then pay half of whatever he made off the sale in taxes or more than, like, yeah, you gave the guy a bunch of money, but at the same time, if he wouldn't have been able to sell that island and it's in his name, come tax season, he's screwed, like that.
Yeah, that is true.
Giveaways like that, that's a bit much. And, like what I was kind of leading into is they started giving away cash with it. And it's like, okay, you have a car or truck or boat or whatever the hell they're giving away that's worth X amount of dollars. And then they give you cash of like, $10,000-$20,000 so that when you combine them, all that cash they gave you is what goes to the taxes. So you're not actually having to go dig in your own bank account to pay back for something that, you won and then you might not have been able to afford to pay the income tax on, So that to me, when they start doing it that way, then I'm like, okay, that's how you know that they're not out here just doing it for a PR stunt, Yeah. But now that like everybody that's doing YouTube like that just started, and the other good side about like everything that's going on at the drag strips now, like, Destin Tunes, and then you've got World Cup, Texas 2K. That was something else that I think we should try to go to that next year.
That'd probably be a lot more obtainable to go to first than the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. But stuff like that, street racing was very common for a long time, but it seems like it's becoming a lot less common because people are going to tracks now. It's
smart.
It doesn't cost a whole lot to go in and get your vehicle inspected and then run at a test and tune, and it's just safer, better for people. Street racing is definitely on a decline. And I don't think that's because of police. I think it's because of...
I think people are just... I think you're right. They're just kind of getting smarter, I guess. Because at the end of the day, it really is not worth it when you could literally just go down to the track.
Yeah, and if you are going to street race, like, why are so many of these people doing it on active highways? On a 6-lane highway, and all you see when they're recording this shit is cars that they're passing at 120, 140, 150.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that, man? Like, you're gonna kill someone eventually, and if you don't, you're just one of the lucky ones,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing too, is like, I guess an argument you could make is like, if you do have to street race,
find a back road.
Go somewhere where you're not going to take somebody's mom or dad away from them, like, I know we sound really old right now, but it's true. Like, it's when you're not putting someone else in danger.
It's not old, Houston. It's called being mature. And that's not a bad thing.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, we used to go do high speeds in certain areas of Mexico, you know.
Yeah.
But we never did it in stupid ways.
Yeah.
We
Where we
were
were putting other people in
Yeah,
danger.
like yeah, obviously we knew that we were putting ourselves
Yeah.
in an expected amount of danger, but we weren't looking to possibly involve other people, you know,
Yeah.
and that's yeah. Too many people, you know, take a passenger in their vehicle, whatever, and then
That's
boom.
another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing you know, someone's son or daughter is dead. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah. No, that sort of thing. It's definitely good that it seems to be on a decline anyways.
I
I
think
don't
so.
see it as common, you know, people posting YouTube videos, and I think that's because police are a lot smarter now too.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very easy you're very easily tracked on the internet now too,
Oh,
more
100%.
than you used to be. And so many people, they're like, "Oh, we're street racing in Mexico," and then they get the interpass that they're, you know, racing on, get a street
Yeah.
sign or whatever, and then it's like, okay, we know where you're at,
Yeah.
we know what city you're
Well,
in.
and it's like half of the people, like I see car meets and then Mexico after. Well, they know exactly where to watch you and then just tell you when you leave.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's
Speaking of car meets, that guy Jeremy that I was telling you about, he said that
oh
I
yeah.
guess in Carlsbad they have car meets frequently. So
Hmm.
he said he would let me know
I
when
have to
he's going to
show
one
up to
again,
one.
and yeah, I'd go mainly to film. I mean,
Yeah, no, exactly.
like just go see what's up, see what people are rocking nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, and he's
Anybody watching, comment below some car meets
yeah,
that y'all know of
southeast
or like to go to.
southeastern New Mexico and West Texas area. You know,
Yep.
and I'm not shy to travel either. I'd love to
Yeah,
travel. So yeah.
that is true.
Well, I think that about covers it for this podcast.
Think so.
Yeah. Hope you guys
Tell us
enjoyed.
anything we missed.
Yeah.
Anything y'all'd like to hear about.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to join the Discord. Link is in the
Join the
description.
Discord.
If you made it this far, you get a cookie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all in the next one.
Yep. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Bye.
Goodbye now.